Just sitting here thinking about what I'm doing next. I'm sure a lot of you folks have gotten involved with projects and you get to the point to where you don't know where you're going. Putting a new toilet, new vanity in this place, I want to show you how to install a toilet. We've already ripped it out. Anybody can rip them out. That's not a big deal. But there's a couple little tricks you'll learn when we do this and how to put them back together. So today on Rod's Projects, we're going to put in a new toilet. Thanks for coming in, folks. Let's see what we can do. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is slip the bolts in place. As I told you earlier, put the flooring right underneath it. It allows it not to have the bolt drop out on us, which is fantastic. We'll slide this other one right inside here. And we take your wax ring, remove the plastic, and gently set it right inside the hole. Okay? Nothing much more you're going to do there. Now we have our nuts and washers over here. So bring the toilet back over. The toilet's pretty heavy, so you got to be careful. And the whole idea here is to make sure we line the bolts with the bolt holes. Gently put her down. Yeah, this one bolt's good. This one bolt, it's good. So, out of its setting, I'm going to push down on the wax ring. This will seal the toilet properly. Another thing we want to make sure is the toilet's pretty square to the wall. I'm going to move it around a little bit, see how she looks. We can always adjust this later. Alright, so we've got the studs coming through and the nuts on with the washer. And we're using a small wrench. We're just going to tighten these down. Don't over tighten them. They don't require 500 pounds of torque. You're going to tighten it up. You start to feel some resistance on it. That's usually enough. Hold it right there with that. Now these do loosen up with age because as you sit on it, the gasket's going to squash. So it's not uncommon to have to come back here in a month and just tighten these back up. Don't be worried about that. That wax gasket is going to create enough seal in this toilet. Nothing's going to leak, but you just want to make sure the toilet is secure. Actually, it feels pretty tight at this point. I do like to make sure that it is supported properly, so I'm just tapping this little shim. There's no need for that. There's a little need here. I'll put one right there like that. I'll put one in the back there. I stabilize that toilet. Keep it nice and tight. Check the bolts again. That's good. Just a little loose here. Tighten the guy out. Okay, so we're going to be installing these shims underneath the toilet just to make up for the gap in the floor, because no floors are ever perfect. This way it supports it more. So I'm just putting a regular wood wedge in until it starts to bind. Okay, take your razor, just etch it. Oops. Go back in there. Make it this way. Etch it so I can just break it off. Come on, stay still. So this one works. Squirt. If you want to keep on cutting it, you can do so. Usually just a nice score will give you enough Get under there and break it. There we go. Shims are under the toilet. One over here. Let me see if I need another one. Just a tiny one in the back here. Okay, so now that we have the finishers in place, the washer locked down tight, unfortunately the bowl is too large. The cap will never fit. So we're going to cut it off right at the base. Get yourself a nice little handy hacksaw handle. Make sure the teeth are biting on the draw, not the push, the draw. Otherwise you'll never get it. See how the teeth are facing backwards? Even the arrow tells you which way it's supposed to go in the handle. So that way you're making the cut as you're drawing. If you're trying to push on this, you'll just bend the blade. So we'll set it right down next to the nut. Draw it back. Funny is, I'm not left-handed and I'm uncoordinated with my left hand. How about that? And when you usually get about halfway through, you can cheat. Get a pair of pliers. Just bend it off. Okay? Clean that up. The cap goes in place. Like so. There's your finisher. All right, so we're going to assemble the top tank. It comes with a lid. This one already has the flush valve and the fill valve installed, which is very nice. Lots of hardware. This is for the bolts on the bottom of the toilet, which is handy. Instructions. Pay attention. They do mean a lot. And I'm going to take this off here. As you see on the bottom of the toilet, this is your fill valve hole, which is going to be hooked up to the flex line. This is the seal for the tank to the toilet base. We're going to put nuts on the opposite side, and we don't want to over torque them. The last thing you want to do is crack your tank. That sucks. Time for a new toilet when you do that. I'll lay this guy on its side. Rummage through all the hardware. Get this thing in place. Give us a minute, we'll be right back. Okay, so we're attaching the top tank to the toilet bowl. Rubber handle, so I don't break anything. Now, the bolts coming through are in a large washer. I'm simply using the handle to push them down so I can get enough access and exposed threads on the bottom here to put the washer and the nut on. Okay, I do have the other two already set up. So at this point, I'm going to tighten them up. Just to tighten them by hand, and then I'm going to take a little wrench and just tighten them down ever so slightly. We don't want to over torque it again. Last thing I want to do is crack the bolt. Alright, so I'm going to tighten these bolts up to where it starts to get resistance. I'm not going to over torque them. This way it won't crack the tank. But simply alternating each one until you get some resistance out of them with the wrench. Now, some people like to assemble this all together to roll it in place. You can do that if you wish. It takes a little bit less time on this end. But I just think the toilet gets so bulky and heavy, it's easier to work with it in pieces when you're setting it on the floor. But that's a personal preference, whatever you like. And also remember that the toilet comes with all the hardware necessary to mount it, with the exception of the flex line. So if you have a flex line needs to be replaced, you might want to buy a new one of those. The mounting bolts, the wax seal. Well, the wooden shims don't come with it, so you have to find some of them. Okay, so I'm tightening these down using a small ratchet. Basically, you're taking them down all the way until it gets tight. That's it. Right now that thing's tight. You don't tighten it anymore. That's it. So all the bolts are secure. The tank is nice and secure, no movement in it. Again, when you're tightening them down, you'll come to the point to where you realize it's not going to go any further. You don't push it. You stop it at that point. Okay? So we're all set here. Next, we're going to take our fill line and attach it. And after we do that, we'll set the toilet up. All right, so now we're going to attach our flexible line to the tank of the toilet. Flex lines are nicer because this way you can accommodate any type of positioning on the toilet relative to the feed valve. And it simply just screws on and you hand tighten to the toilet. That should be it. Then I'm going to get a wrench down here and tighten up the fitting. And then I'll show you how to set the toilet up properly. I just want to talk a little bit about the inside of the toilet. How it operates is the fill valve takes the water pressure through here and allows the tank to fill up based on this floating device. If I lower this, it allows more water to come in. Now the whole idea is to get the water to the water line. On this particular unit, on the side of the flush valve, it has an indicator saying water line. A lot of them have a water line right inside the casting to know how high the water should be. Now, once you adjust that properly, and you adjust that by doing this screw here, moving this screw in or out to raise or lower that rod to push this up enough to turn off the valve. So right now, it is perfect. Another thing I want to show you though, you see the bowl fills up with water. Now, if in the event that this valve fails and it just constantly runs, the water is going to overflow into this tube and come into the tub, and I'll show you how that works. I'm going to hold the valve down, push some more water in. Starts to overflow into the toilet. You can hear that, but you actually can see the toilet wants to move, water wants to move up. And the good thing is, if you adjust this pressure, you don't want to full pressure it. This way it can actually run out. So I always adjust it down to make sure that my toilet isn't going to overflow. And I'm just watching the water here, if it's still coming up. It doesn't appear to be moving. Even though the valve is stuck in the wide open position, you don't run risk of this toilet just overflowing and making a mess on the floor. It's always going to go out the toilet. Now I'm going to let my hand off here. This is obviously going to shut the water off. As you can see, that flow comes up. The water is too high at this point, so we'll just let a little bit out. And on this particular toilet, that is the water line. That's where it has to be. It needs to shut off there. So I'm going to flush the toilet. You see the whole action. The water rushes down through here, comes into the bowl. This drops back down. Your float is now all the way at the bottom. If I raise this up, it shuts the water off. So the float down, water's coming out, off. So as the water comes up, it's going to raise the float to turn the valve off, which then will shut the whole toilet down. And we'll make sure the water line comes up and matches again. If it doesn't, we'll just adjust it. Just a matter of turning this screw. So now that we have the water lines all adjusted properly, we'll set the lid on top. That's it. The toilet's installed. Just a matter of putting on your favorite seat, whatever you like, and finishing up the bottom with some nice line of caulk so you don't see the crack between the floor. So that's it for this project. Hope everybody enjoyed it. If you have any questions, please inquire at the bottom. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.